There are just hours left before President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs go into effect, but a current court case could stop the president from implementing them entirely.
Plus, Brown University strikes a deal with President Trump to restore its federal funds.
And
I really thought we were going to die. It was that scary.
the Federal Aviation Administration is investigating after 25 people were hospitalized when a Delta flight hit severe turbulence. Newswatch starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Noah Cavan.
And I'm Talia Milowich. Welcome to Newswatch.
Now, we finally got a break from the heat today, but is it going to stick around?
To find out, let's hear from forecaster Steve Nedlick.
Yeah, guys, we cooled off big time today. From going in the upper 80s to the low 90s, we're now seeing 60s in parts of Ohio, so it's really a welcome sight after the really hot month we've had. Now, a big reason for this is the cold front that moved through overnight. It brought us some widespread storms, nothing severe, but we've been seeing rains in parts of Ohio pretty much all day. And when that rain drops, it helps cool off the air. But another big thing that came with this cold front was the clouds. The clouds blocked out the daytime heating, so we really didn't get any of that sunshine that we really typically would have to help heat up our ground. So it helped keep our temperatures low. Tonight, we're finally going to have a nice overnight low of 62 degrees. These showers are going to stick around, potentially spotting up here and there, but nothing widespread, so you don't have to worry about that too much. And then the rain's going to taper off as we head into tomorrow, but the clouds are going to stay until about the morning. And then we finally get a break from this heat, and sunny skies are ahead, so it's going to make for an absolutely beautiful weekend.
Thanks, Steve. Nelsonville City Council is holding a special session tonight to elect a new vice president.
This comes after the resignation of the council member who could have solved the city's December problem. Newswatch reporter Josh Turner is live in Nelsonville with the latest. Josh?
Noah and Talia, Nancy Sonic's resignation means the city could have an empty council chambers come the last month of this year. Sonic told WOUB last month she planned on resigning in November when terms of the rest of the council members end. Had she stayed on through the end of her term in December, she would have been the key to give the city a chance to have a functioning council until a new council under the statutory form of government takes office in January. Now, the only way there is a council in December is if people run for council this November to serve a one-month term. But so far, no one has filed to be a write-in candidate on the ballot. Sonic wasn't the only resignation in City Hall this week. Treasurer Michael Mullane officially resigned on Tuesday. The city is now seeking applicants for the auditor and treasurer positions and to fill vacant seats on council and the ad hoc committee. Interested applicants can apply to the council clerk or the city manager. The ad hoc committee just finished up their meeting as they are helping the city guide through the transition period between governments. Alongside tonight's special session of City Council, the council will hold their regularly scheduled meeting on the second Monday in August. August 25th is the final deadline for interested applicants to apply for both offices on the November ballot. The council will have about a month to vote on a new member. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Joshua Herner, live in Nelsonville.
Thanks, Josh. A Monroe County man is facing charges for allegedly raping a minor. The Noble County Sheriff's Office says deputies arrested 33-year-old Jonathan P. Neff of Woodsfield, Ohio last Friday. He's facing 9 felony counts of rape. Neff is currently being held in the Noble County Jail with a $750,000 bond. The Sheriff's Office says the investigation is still open and additional charges are possible. Investigators are asking anyone with information on this case or know of similar incidents to call the number on your screen. Fairfield County officials are urging residents to report property damage caused by this weekend's flash floods. Over the weekend, Fairfield County was hit hard by severe storms, getting almost 7 inches of rain in just 48 hours. That's nearly 2 months worth of rain. If you have uninsured losses, you may be eligible for Small Business Administration assistance, even if you're not a business owner. If your home or business was damaged in the floods, you can file a report through the link on your screen by Saturday.
West Virginia is banning artificial food dyes from school meals. Starting tomorrow, foods containing petroleum-based dyes, including Red 40, Yellow 6, and Blue 1, will be removed. Because of the ban, dozens of foods from red Jell-O to Dorito chips won't be served anymore. Earlier this year, West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey signed the law banning artificial dyes to prevent potential health effects. The dyes have been linked to hyperactivity and attention problems in some children. Governor Mike DeWine says he's still confident Intel's $28 billion computer chip plants will be built, despite significant delays. Intel announced the Licking County plants won't open until at least 2031, even though construction was supposed to start this year. In April, the company also announced it planned to lay off a fifth of its workforce. Ohio already gave Intel $600 million in grants for the project. When the project was first announced back in 2022, it was the largest public-private partnership in state history.
The Ohio Conservatives PAC is supporting an amendment to abolish property taxes in Ohio. Citizens for Property Tax Reform, the group behind the amendment, says the motivation is a grassroots issue not backed by either political party. Members of the group say the proposal will increase efficiency and accountabilities for entities like police departments and local governments. While critics worry the amendment does not specify how these local entities will be funded without the property taxes. The group will need about 440,000 valid signatures by next July to put the amendment on the 2026 ballot. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost appoints Mathura Sridharan to the state Solicitor General. Sridharan will replace her predecessor, Elliot Gazer, who President Donald Trump appointed to lead the Justice Department's Office of Legal Counsel. She previously served as the Deputy Solicitor General and will take office in August when Gazer is sworn in. As Solicitor General, Sridharan will represent the state in appeals cases and state federal courts.
In less than 24 hours, several countries will learn their economic fate with the United States when the Trump administration's pause on reciprocal tariffs ends.
If implemented, these tariffs could reshape the way America does business with the world. Maribel Gonzalez has a breakdown of what goods can be impacted.
Is there any wiggle room on steel and aluminum in exchange for any budge on digital?
Not a lot, because if I do it for one, I have to do it for all.
President Donald Trump signed multiple executive actions this week, imposing a 50% tariff on Brazil, a 50% tariff on certain copper products, and said India would have to pay a 25% reciprocal tariff and possibly a penalty at the start of August. So what do these changes mean for Americans?
We'll see prices start to creep up.
The move signals an escalation of the Trump administration's trade war, impacting products that are crucial components in a variety of goods like copper, which is used in electronics, machinery, and cars. Also,
Coffee is a good example. It's something that's not grown in the United States.
While these trade talks have produced some wins for the U.S., like some overseas trading partners pledging increased investments, other countries like Canada are not playing ball. If tariffs on Canadian imports like lumber remain in place, a report from the Canadian Chamber of Commerce estimates the average cost of building a home in the U.S. could increase by an additional $14,000 by the end of 2027. And yet, all these tariffs could be changed once again inside a courtroom.
The authority for them is based on the president's emergency powers, and there's a court case pending on that, and the federal circuit could decide that he doesn't have those powers, in which case he's not allowed to levy these tariffs.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez, reporting.
The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit held oral arguments for that very case today.
The case will determine if President Trump overstepped his authority in establishing his tariffs. Trump couldn't use a law known as the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977 to enact the tariffs. But the Federal Appeals Court allowed Trump's tariffs to remain in place while the case is being challenged.
The court's ruling could significantly reshape Trump's trade strategy, but it could take weeks or even months to reach a decision. Brown University reaches a $50 million deal with President Trump to restore its federal funding. Brown will pay the money in grants over 10 years to Rhode Island workforce development organizations. The university says it is not making any payments or fines to the federal government. As part of the deal, officials say the federal government will reinstate all frozen grants from the Department of Health and Human Services, restore the school's eligibility for future funding, and close all pending investigations into the university. In exchange, Brown agreed to several measures aimed at dismantling certain diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Transportation authorities are investigating after severe turbulence struck a Delta flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam, forcing an emergency landing, all while entering day 2 of hearings in Washington probing the D.C. mid-air collision between an Army Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines jet. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
Just as dinner service began on Delta Flight 56 from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam,
we hit the craziest turbulence I've ever seen in my life.
Another passenger on the plane says people who didn't have their seatbelts on were at most risk.
Everyone that didn't they hit the ceiling and then they fell to the ground. And the carts also hit the ceiling and fell to the ground, and people were injured.
The plane made an emergency landing in Minneapolis. 25 people on board were taken to local hospitals, and the airline says the majority have been released. The Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board will investigate the incident. Meanwhile, in the nation's capital, the NTSB continued questioning witnesses regarding January's deadly mid-air collision in D.C. between an American Airlines regional jet and an Army Black Hawk helicopter.
Our objective today is to thoroughly understand crew dynamics and air traffic control and operations.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy growing frustrated with some of the answers given by representatives of the FAA and Army after 10 hours of testimony Wednesday. The hearing's revelations included that Army helicopters would regularly fly below aircraft that were descending to land at Reagan National Airport.
Why did it take 67 lives to be lost and families who are just destroyed forever to understand what was occurring?
A determination of what caused the crash will come in January. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
American support for Israel's military actions in Gaza is dropping. A Gallup poll released this week found just 32% of U.S. adults support Israel's military actions. That's a record low since the war started after Hamas's October 2023 terror attack. The poll also found the strongest partisan split yet. Support among those who identify themselves as Republicans remains strong at 71%. But just 8% of Democrats and 25% of independents say they back Israel's military actions. Coming up, if you notice an increase in your student loan balance, you're not alone. A major change will cause millions of borrowers to owe more starting tomorrow.
And without cuts to interest rates, experts say it's time to invest more in your savings.
After all that warm weather, cooler air has moved into the area. Find out what that means for your weekend next.
吹き飛ばされて気を失ってしまったんですね。
街が何にもなくなってるわけ。近寄るな近寄るなと言われました。
沈黙を強いれたんです。
Monday at 10 on WOUB.
An American experience. It was a fight to the finish.
The plan was to turn every Japanese soldier and every civilian into kamikaze.
Hear the untold stories of the last months of the war and find out how close we came to an even more catastrophic conclusion.
We considered ourselves dead men.
Victory in the Pacific, an American experience.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Can you feel the moment?
The American Revolution changed the world.
With a story unfolds.
Everybody had the sense of possibility worth fighting for.
What took place here still leaves us in awe.
We can work towards equality together.
Wow, this is the missing piece. Incredible.
To confront these figures from ancient history is a great privilege.
Our history tells us who we are, where we came from.
And it's all connected.
Like links in a chain.
Like links in a chain, yeah.
All I can do is say thank you.
Wow, this is phenomenal.
I'm really grateful for this.
It's been a nice day so far today. I mean, it's nowhere near as humid as it has been in the last couple of weeks. You know, why is that?
That drier air moved in last night, and it made it feel a whole lot more comfortable out there.
And just the heat overall, it's finally not been like awfully hot. So can we expect for that to stick around?
It kind of seems like it's here for the long haul. I mean, at least the next week. But if we take a look right now, we're looking at, you know, low 80s, mid 70s, which is definitely a welcome sight after just what seems like a really, really hot and humid July, which is definitely normal, but it's not. It's definitely nice to have that a little break after that. But the reason we've been so cool is just because of a bunch of different reasons. First off, we have all these clouds in the area, and it's not really letting any of that sun get to the surface. And another reason for that is with the clouds, we did have rain earlier. Not crazy rain, not a bunch of widespread rain, but it was just kind of drops here and there that, again, when the rain enters the atmosphere, it helps cool off that air. The main stuff actually stayed up north where we had heavier rainfall, and that really kind of just stayed up near the lake, but that definitely helped cool them off as well. Now, what everyone's been waiting on, that humidity to go away. I mean, and we finally have seen these darker colors be pushed back down to the south where you would expect them. So we've been dealing with, these real feels in the upper 90s. That's not what we've had today. We've had mid 80s, just like normal. And the reason for that is this high pressure that developed up in Canada. And when it develops up there, it starts to push the cooler air down, and that's ultimately what helped drive this cooler air through us, and that's why we have seen this nice weather move in. Tomorrow, absolutely nothing going on. No clouds, no rain. It's going to be beautiful tomorrow, and it's going to be certainly a welcome sight after all this humidity and all these pop-up storms we've been dealing with. Saturday, much of the same. The high pressure starts to dip south a little bit more towards our area, but again, keeps our skies really clear. Tonight, again, we have those chance of showers that are going to slowly dissipate as we head later into the evening. And we have an overnight low of 62, which is beautiful after what we've been dealing with 71, 72 overnight highs. And again, that humidity is going to make for the lack of humidity is going to make for a really comfortable overnight. Tomorrow, beautiful. Only a high of 82 and no humidity, and that overnight low actually in the 50s for the first time in what feels like forever. We'll have a few clouds here and there, but mostly clear skies again for the most part. We're going to slowly heat back up. This is looking at the next 6 to 10 days to about average, but we have about a week until we even start to get back into the mid to upper 80s, so we're going to have a really enjoyable week heading up. Now, once we take a look at this 7-day, it's really looking beautiful after what we've been dealing with. We don't really see the 90s, at least for the next week. So then, once we look at the temperatures, 82 tomorrow, 82 Saturday, but it's these overnight lows that are really going to feel nice because we've been dealing with all that humidity overnight, and that just won't be there. And once we get to Sunday, clouds slowly start to move back in, 84 on Sunday, 84 on Monday, but just notice the gradual increase of both the daytime highs and the overnight lows. And then rain enters our area again on Tuesday to start up the rain for the month of August. But again, it's going to slowly increase in that humidity and slowly increase in that rain. So definitely enjoy this beautiful weekend because clouds and rain, along with the humidity, is going to return to our forecast. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Steve. Millions of borrowers are about to see their student loan balances increase. The change affects borrowers enrolled in the Saving on a Valuable Education Plan, an income-driven repayment plan launched under the Biden administration offering lower monthly payments. Because of legal challenges, payments have been paused and balances have been frozen since last summer. But now interest will be applied again starting tomorrow. The Department of Education says borrowers can still be granted forbearance to delay their monthly payments. Many Americans are still opening their wallets despite tariff-based price hikes. Consumer spending increased 0.3% in June compared to May. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, which monitors average price changes in the U.S., increased by the same amount. That lifted the yearly rate to 2.6%, a high not seen since February.
The Federal Reserve announces it will not lower interest rates, and while that means it will cost more to borrow money, there is an upside. When interest rates are high, many banks will offer higher annual percentage yields on savings accounts. Jen Sullivan explains how you can grow your savings faster right now.
Wednesday, the Federal Reserve announced they're keeping interest rates between 4.25 and 4.5%.
Recent indicators suggest that growth of economic activity has moderated.
This means it will continue to cost consumers more to borrow money for things like a mortgage, car payments, even credit card debt. But there is some good news. When interest rates are high, many banks will offer higher annual percentage yields on savings accounts, which means you can grow your money faster.
It's not a bad time to be putting your money towards investments to let it grow.
Bankrate financial analyst Stephen Cates says now is a good time to look into high-yield savings accounts and certificate of deposit accounts known as CDs. Basic savings accounts have an average annual percentage yield of 0.56%, but a high-yield savings account can pay upwards of 4% annually. The higher the rate, the more interest you'll earn on your savings. This Bankrate graph shows how much a top-yield savings account outpaces the average savings rate. So let's crunch the numbers into this Bankrate calculator. If you move $5,000 into a high-yield savings account and contribute $200 a month over a 5-year period with an annual percentage yield of 4.25%, in 5 years, you'll have made nearly $2,500 in interest.
You're getting a really healthy yield compared to where we were over the last, 15 years.
Beware that the bank can change the percent of interest you earn. In a CD, the rate is typically fixed for a specific period of time. In both types of accounts, there may be restrictions on how much and when you can withdraw those funds. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Next on Newswatch, students and parents are gearing up for the new school year. But between flu season and classroom germs, back to school season can be extra challenging for students with asthma.
Next time on The Great American Recipe.
It's time for everyone's favorite round, the recipe swap.
I immediately panic.
Never heard of that?
I've never stuffed a fish.
Whoa. This is what the challenge is all about, to get out of your comfort zone.
How's it going? I know you weren't expecting this today.
A little sash.
Put that in the middle and crimp it. Yes.
It takes a village.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
This is the moment that you've been waiting for.
On your marks, get set, go!
Discover extraordinary lost worlds.
I know scientists that would give their right arm for this.
This is heaven. Hope y'all ready.
Regardless of your stage of life, whether you're starting your first job, getting the keys to a new home, or enjoying retirement, it's never too early or too late to create an estate plan to care for loved ones and support the causes that are meaningful to you. WOUB Public Media is pleased to have partnered with Giving Dogs, a free resource for building an estate plan that fits your needs and protects the people and causes you care about. Visit WOUB.org and click the Support tab to get started today.
From coastal cliffs battered by the world's biggest waves, to ancient forests where wild horses roam, Portugal possesses a bounty of natural treasures. But we have encroached on these places, threatened its inhabitants. Can Portugal preserve its wild side?
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
President Donald Trump signs an executive order officially reestablishing the presidential fitness test. Several former and current professional athletes were at the White House today as the president put pen to paper. The test was introduced in 1966 by President Lyndon B. Johnson. Public school students with the highest scores in the fitness challenge will receive recognition. The Obama administration replaced the test in 2012 with the Fitnessgram assessment, which focused on individual health.
Back to school season is right around the corner, but returning to the classroom often means exposure to germs. That can be especially hard for the millions of U.S. children who have asthma. Mandy Gaither speaks with a medical expert on how to keep kids with asthma safe during the school year.
It's time to get back to the classroom, but for students who suffer from asthma, a new school year can be challenging in more ways than one.
We call fall peak season.
Dr. Juanita Mora with the American Lung Association says there are two reasons asthma flare-ups can be triggered this time of year. Allergens are starting to come out, and we're heading toward viral season. The classroom can be an easy place for those germs to spread, but Mora says there are 5 ways to keep asthma sufferers safe.
Number 1 is having an asthma action plan, so that if their asthma starts acting up, then teachers or parents and kids know exactly what to do.
Next, if the student has a rescue inhaler in school, she says parents need to make sure their child knows how to use it in case of an asthma attack. 3, take controller medications every day. And 4, know their triggers.
So if their triggers are temperature change, or their trigger is ragweed pollen or fall allergies, or if their trigger is a cold, that they have a plan with their doctor on what to do throughout the season.
Finally, Mora says as viral season approaches, make sure students are vaccinated from the viruses that can be especially dangerous to them, including flu, COVID-19, and RSV if they're eligible.
Because these are the 3 major viruses that will affect. And let's remember that last season, we had the most pediatric deaths from flu that we've seen in the last 25 years. So we don't want to repeat that.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Still ahead, dozens of ponies took a dip in the 100th annual Chincoteague Pony Swim.
We'll be right back, but here's a look at what's coming up next on WOUB.
PBS viewers believe that businesses that sponsor PBS on WOUB Public Television have a commitment to quality and excellence. Sponsoring a PBS television program offers your business a unique opportunity to connect with a highly engaged, loyal, and trustful audience in a clutter-free environment, leading to increased brand awareness, positive perception, and potential for higher customer engagement. Your sponsorship is important to the community, and the rewards come back to you in the form of loyal customers. Align your organization with America's most trusted news and public affairs network. WOUB Public Television is worthy of your trust. Contact Corporate Support Director Kathy Malesic at 740-593-4909 or online at woub.org/support.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
Scientists are finding people have been getting inked up for a long time. Archaeologists are investigating intricate tattoos found on a prehistoric Siberian woman. Researchers used high-resolution photography to create a 3D scan of the mummy, whose remains were preserved by permafrost in the Altai Mountains. The study shows the woman had tattoos on both forearms. Modern-day tattoo artists work with the researchers to help identify tools and techniques that may have been used more than 2,000 years ago.
Ponies made a splash in the 100th annual Chincoteague Pony Swim. Participating horses dove in for yesterday morning's event. Thousands came out to watch the adult ponies and their foals swim across the Assateague Channel. Today, some of the ponies were auctioned off at Chincoteague Island. Tomorrow, they'll swim back to Assateague Island. I mean, pretty good weather for a pony to take a dip. What about, us? If we wanted to go in the pool this weekend, would it be good weather to do that?
It's going to be beautiful. Sunny skies all the way around, but it's going to feel a little chilly, especially after what we've been dealing with the past week or two.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go out to the beach, so...
It might be the weekend to do that, but it'll be a little chilly. Tonight, we're going to be in the 60s, which is a really welcome sight after those overnight lows in the 70s. No real humidity to deal with tonight. We're going to have some passing showers. But then as we look to the weekend, sunny skies and mid-80s temperatures is going to be the name of the game. And those overnight lows in the 50s. So it's going to be a beautiful weekend. We'll slowly start to heat back up as we enter the work week next week, with the chance of rain returning on Tuesday.
That's going to do it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Steve Nedlick and Josh Herner, I'm Noah Cavan.
And I'm Talia Milovich. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a good night.
I love it.
We're on the